You are now tuned in to Decadent Conversations. I'm your girl, Shea Butter.
And I'm Brown Sugar.
Welcome
Welcome
back.
back. Okay. You know I always
We're going to
got
talk
some
about your
stuff.
dress first.
What? Oh, you like my dress?
Girl, because you be, I don't know what's going on, but you be trying to wear these threads.
You look cute too. I like that. I
Thank
definitely like
you.
that. Hmm.
I still want the viewers to go ahead and go back and watch your glow up because it's just gets better every week, I must say.
Yes. Because I did go back and look, and I was looking like an old lady in the, like a couple of them in the beginning. I was trying to get it together.
And now you just look like lifestyles of the rich and the famous on all
You.
space.
Thank you. Thank you. Okay.
Anyway,
So, you first.
go ahead. Y-
Okay, so I had a pretty good week. I be having horror stories with this dating stuff, but I had two good situations this weekend. So the first situation, I met a gentleman and he was really just a genuine nice guy. I did meet him online, but he was just really cool. There's one, I won't say it's a problem, but there's one thing that's a little different than other guys with this particular guy, and he stutters, right? But, his expressive language is like really great. He communicates well, but he just happens to be a stutterer, which isn't a problem with me. But, my
Is it a
mind
hard
twisted.
stutter?
Oh, it's a hard stutter.
Your
But
mind
my,
twisted. You think about coochie eating?
no, I wasn't. Well, that's an interesting thought, but that's not what
You,
I was
I'm just
thinking.
saying. He gonna
I
stutter
was
on that clit.
thinking, I was thinking, you know, if he's, because I asked him, does he always stutter? And he said, if I'm very relaxed or when I used to smoke weed, I didn't stutter. But I was wondering, like, if he was having sex, would he stutter or stop stuttering?
He might. Shit.
Would
Let me
he
know what the
stutter or
head
not?
like if
I
y'all
don't,
get
my
there.
mind be twisted. I mean, I'm not, it's not to that point or anything. And then the second situation, this
If
is a
y'all
first
get
for
there.
what?
I say if
Oh
y'all get
Lord.
there.
The second situation is something that's different for me. I'm not like the person that gets hooked up, but I actually had two family members on both sides of the family think that a particular guy was good for me, and they both happen to either work with or have worked with. So they introduced me to the guy, and it's new and everything, but I totally get why they had that thought. So even if it ends in just friendship or whatever, he's just a great guy, and I just felt good to run into someone who seems just genuine and like cool. It's too early to tell anything, but based on what I know of these ladies, they vet the hell out of people.
I got
So
a
that's
question.
that's cool. So that was pretty much, like my weekend as far as highlights or whatever.
I got a
So
question.
yeah.
What's his body type?
He's tall. I wouldn't say athletic, but not like sloppy or anything. He's a little bit stocky, but he's tall. And I mean I haven't seen him like shirt off or anything, but a nice solid dude. He probably played football or something in high school,
Because I was trying to
not
bust your ass
college.
because you tried to play me last week and say that you do like big eyes. And I'm like, you really don't like big eyes.
Oh my goodness. It's not that. It just so happens that the last the last people I've interacted with happen to be more fit. It just worked out that way. But I have liked guys that was bigger before. You know what I'm saying? But just don't come with the shenanigans. If they have like a great personality, they funny, they cool, they confident, they dress well, I give a big dude a chance.
I
I give a big dude a chance.
I've given big gentlemen chances, so
Hmm.
it's but I do feel like everybody still has like a preference, and you know what my
Okay, why
preference
you didn't
is.
like the big ones?
And the reason I don't like the little ones. Do stupid shit.
So it was not the body type that was a turn off. It was because they did something.
Yeah. But I still have a preference. I prefer my fried chicken over restaurant fried chicken, but I'm gonna eat them both.
Damn.
Shit. um,
Right.
right. So I know this kind of doesn't have anything to do with what we're talking about, but it's been on my mind. I want to discuss it a little bit. Do you
Hmm.
feel like shit, and I don't want to sound like a bitch when I say this, or like I'm not like a materialistic person like that.
Right. Hmm.
Um, do you feel that men that are not financially stable, or men with lack of funds, I guess that's the same thing. Do you feel like
Hmm.
they should not be dating, or it's okay for them to date?
Ooh. I feel like you should date your level. Or if you choose to not date your level, then alter your expectations. Right? So, you know, I mean, dudes gonna shoot they shot. They'll be on the bus and talk to the girl in the Benz. And if the girl in the Benz take the bait or like something or see something or feeling how she, whatever her reasons are, that's cool. The problem I have is when you, air quote, date up and then mad about some of the results of that, or when that woman has the expectation of, okay, well, I saw potential in you, so but what are you going to do to change your situation, or get jealous or mad because she's doing things that you're not in a position to do, so you try to make her I'm sorry, you try to make her be somebody she's not. But generally speaking, if you broke, male or female, but especially males, if you broke, you need to get your focus on getting your money up. Like, you need to get your money up, because I'll be honest with you, I've had that situation where, maybe I didn't know in the beginning, but I dated someone who didn't have their, financial house anywhere near in order. And he get a couple nickels to rub together and want to take me out, but then he back to square one. You know what I mean? So
Right.
I just feel like you need to be focusing on getting yourself together. But at the same time, it's unreasonable to expect that a person's not gonna have no companionship. You know what I mean?
Right.
So deal with who is at your like level then. That's how I feel. But mostly your focus should be on getting yourself together. Cause what are you really gonna do? You don't have anything.
Well, you know, and I'm all for the dating on somebody that's on your level, but I do feel like we as women, black women specifically, and it's not all of us, but it is a huge number of black women. I feel like we date down in a sense. Like we may be dating somebody that is not as financially versed as we may be, or as financially strong as we may be. They don't even know how to manage their money. And we make exceptions in a lot of areas that we shouldn't. But the reason why I brought the whole question up about dating while broke is because I did have an interesting encounter with a gentleman over the weekend. And then when we parted ways and we were talking about seeing each other again, he was like, well, I live paycheck to paycheck, and I don't think I should see you again until it's a weekend where I get paid. And I couldn't be mad at that. Then I was kind of
Hmm.
like, so damn, nigga, I really gotta wait 2 weeks to see you again. Like that's kind of, I don't
That's
know.
a little bit
Like
respectful though. Like, he
that's
thought
why I said I
highly of you.
appreciated it.
Yeah, he
Excuse
thought
me.
highly of you. I will say this. I did have one situation where I know the guy made significantly less than me, but his attitude was right. And I that he was actively working towards being in a better position. So, for example, we had dated for like maybe 6 months, and I remember him asking me, what's your mortgage?" I'm like, why is this dude asking me this, right? So I told him how much my mortgage was, and I said, "Why'd you ask me that?" He said, "I just wanted to know, like, what did I need to do to position myself that if we move forward, that I can pay the mortgage." He made less money than me, but his attitude was right. He had
And
the
that's
right
the right
attitude
attitude to have.
of wanting to provide. So the fact that he made half what I made didn't matter. And also, he knew that he kind of had to level up. And so, probably for himself, but also considering he was dating me, um, he started taking on other like side hustles and things like that. So I never felt like any level of deficiency with him. So to me it has to do with their attitude as well. Are you just broken and like what are your plans? What's your character? What's our vibe? Like what's your attitude towards me? What's your mission? Like what's your vision? Like all those things do play into it. So it's not like cut and dry to say you broke, I can't say nothing to you. A guy like that is more like what you described is more likely to be someone who is going to not be in that situation in a year or 2 years because he's
And
actively working on that.
I can respect all of that because I feel like in order to be a provider, you don't necessarily need to make more money than me, but what are you doing with your money? If we're on that level and you are holding down what it is that you need to hold down, what are you doing with your money? And being a provider is not the mentality of uh I run this shit, but you do have to have the correct mentality, which would be, how can I show up for this
Right.
person? This is what I can do. And I
Mhm.
know it is the bare minimum, but I'm gonna work on improving that.
Mhm.
You know what I mean? But I don't think a lot of people take that approach.
Mhm. Yeah, I mean,
So,
I agree.
but like I said, the main reason that it bothered me, I guess, is because yeah, I know that he was, as you would say, he thinks highly of me, but I just was like, damn, I gotta wait 2 weeks to see you. And
Yeah.
I'm not saying I don't take men out on dates, because I do and I have and I will in the future, but I kind of like try to
Now
gauge
you
that a
don't
little bit
strike me
before I
as
just
that. You don't strike me as
to
the
pay
woman
for a
taking
date.
men on dates.
Yeah, after the
I never
third,
heard you
after
ain't
the
never said I took him to in the whole time you called me out on
girl,
the fat dude thing. I ain't
oh
never
my
heard you
God, here we
say
go.
I ain't never heard you say I took him to did it. Never, not one time. I'm just saying I ain't never heard it.
First of all, I don't tell you everything that goes on.
Oh, now you don't
You
tell
know
me
what I'm
everything. Okay.
saying? But I'm not this hard ass bitch that everybody seems to think. I do have a heart. I do
I
date
know that.
niggas from big dicks to little dicks. So I'm not just big dick talking all the goddamn time. I do date niggas with no money, niggas with money. I do date fine niggas. I do date ugly niggas. Like I don't know. But if a man makes it to like the third date with me, then I will be like, okay, you know what? I like what he's talking about. I
Right.
like where this is going. Let me show him that it's not just about, oh, what can you do for me? Because I could do for you too. And of course, if somebody is treating me right, I believe in reciprocity. So let me go
Yeah.
ahead and show you I do appreciate what you have done for me, because whether you got it or not, you don't need to spend money on me. You don't owe me. We not on that type of
Yeah.
terms. You know what I mean? So I don't want to seem like I'm just trying to get at a dude because of their pockets.
Right. And but the whole reciprocity thing, because I actually had to cut a couple people off this week. You know what I mean? But one of the things that came up was the guy, he kept mentioning the 50-50 stuff, right? And so I listened to him. I had explained to him, I believe in reciprocity. We had already had that conversation. And so he said it again. I said, "This is about the 10th time since I've known you that you mentioned 50-50. So let me explain something to you. I hate a point system man. I bought a date. Now I bought dinner. Now it's your time to buy dinner. I did this, so you do. No, that ain't the way it works. I do believe in reciprocity, but it may not look the same. He
Mhm.
might take you out on the date. You might cook for him. I scratch your back, you scratch mine. My back don't hurt. My arm hurt. My back ain't it's not itching. My arm is itching. Like I'm just saying, like it may look different. And quite frankly, if you're a man, you're probably gonna spend more money in the beginning. It's perks to, there's male privilege that comes along with being a man, but there's some things that's gonna cost you. You're gonna spend more money most likely, especially in the beginning when it comes to a woman, 9 times out of 10. Okay, you don't like it, then cut your stuff off. I don't know what to tell you. It's part of being a man. You're probably gonna spend a little bit more money in the beginning at least. Then after something is established, or like you said, after a few dates, then you start saying, "This guy's great. Let me see, like what I can do to let him know that I appreciate him as well." So you know, it's give and take. It's not like it's simple and cut and dry. You gotta kind of look at the whole person in the situation.
Okay, cool. We agree on something because we ain't been aligned. I don't know if it's because we've
Oh
been gone
Lord.
or what, but you've been on your bullshit.
Oh my God. Here she go. Oh
Anyway,
my God.
what we on
Okay.
today?
Okay. Okay. Real quick. Real quick. So I used to work across the street from Jordan Down Projects. So I was listening to NPR because I be doing nerd shit on the low. I was listening to NPR, and that's the project for y'all that don't know that in Watts. And when I was working over there, when I stopped working over there, they were talking about tearing down the projects and putting a new development. But they said that all the people that lived there could come back there, right? So that's the spin that they're putting in the news, and it's like these condos, because there's it's hard to find a cool place to stay in LA County for a reasonable price. So they're pulling out all the stops as to how to make that happen. So one of the ways is they're gonna tear down all these projects and put up, higher end developments, or
But is it gonna be the
condos.
same cost that those people
He,
can afford to pay, or that their Section
here's the
8 vouchers or
kicker.
whatever are good for?
Here's the kicker. So they gave people vouchers to go wherever while they rebuild, and told them they can come back. But they made it where if you have a felony, you can't live there.
Oh my God.
Oh,
So it
hell
could
no.
there could be a mom and her son, the only place to stay is with her. But if he has a felony, it doesn't matter how many years ago it is, then he can't move in there. So then she's torn between, do I take this voucher for Section 8 and go somewhere else, or do I move back to the neighborhood I've always been in? Because a lot of those people been there for 3, 4 generations. So it is not what they're making it seem like it is, like in the news, or they were making it seem like it was just this, that they're trying to give this beautiful housing to lower income people, but really it's a
Nah.
game that they're playing. And
They
now
want us
there
out
is,
anyway. They want
yeah,
us out anyway. They've been trying to take
yeah,
LA back, and fuck all this low
yeah.
income because I feel like low income, even though it's high as hell to live out here in this motherfucking California, bitch, low income. What do they got low income marked as? Like $20,000 or some shit like that?
Yeah,
Like I mean, I know that's low, but when you compare California prices, nah, low income really should be a little higher than that.
it should be a lot higher. It
Like,
should be a
let's
lot
be for
higher.
real.
Yeah, it's crazy though, but that it basically brought me to, like, they have plans to do this with all the projects. So, we already have a homeless problem. We talked about that before, last week.
It's gonna get
And
worse.
and yeah, it's just gonna get worse. So it's kind of concerning for me, because even for kids who graduate from college, they have a job where they're making 70,000, they can barely get an apartment. They can barely get an apartment, or they have to give it a roommate. So I don't know what the future is looking like for the average person that lives in California that doesn't already either own property or is not going to
Yeah, because
inherit
even at
property for
70,000
their
is like
family.
living paycheck to paycheck.
Right.
It
That's my
really
whole
is,
point right there.
unfortunately, out here.
Yeah. Yeah.
That's cool, a cool amount of money anywhere else. I mean, that you're not balling, you ain't rich, but you could actually live decent somewhere else.
Yeah, you can. You definitely can. I mean, I think it's going to force a lot of like, especially like people who have a skill set or maybe formally educated, to go somewhere else. I think Texas has already been overwhelmed with California transplants, and
Yeah,
also
they said stop
North,
coming. Atlanta
huh?
don't want us no more. North Carolina
They
about to say
don't
they
shoot.
don't
I
want us
don't
no
want
more.
Atlanta.
Yeah, I don't want Atlanta either. But it is some
Mm-mm.
cuties out there.
You know what? Atlanta is fun for like parties and stuff, but to live, nah. First of all, where's the ocean? I'm like confused. I mean, what am I gonna do? There's no ocean. But yeah,
They
I
food
mean,
is better than our food. I ain't gonna hold
absolutely.
you.
I give them that. I give them that. The food is better for sure. They have black communities. A lot of people I know that have gone out there have
They're
been
thriving.
able to make some good money and make some hella connections. All of that. I give them that 100%. They do a lot of trend setting. I give Atlanta they props for all the stuff that they do well. But ain't no ocean for one thing, and the ratio for men to women is like 100 million men to women, and we already know. You know,
Here
no
she go.
shade to the
Go on and
L's,
say it.
the G's, the B's, the
Get it
T's, and the
right.
pluses.
They gonna come for you.
But a lot of them is that one of the letters. You know what I'm saying? So of them 100 million, thousands of them, they ain't even playing for the same team. So your odds is pretty slim. So yeah, so that for it's for unless you take somebody with you, and that's another story. You
What's up with
go
you,
out
man?
there. What? What?
You
Where's
ever
the
since that
lie?
birthday, you been talking your shit.
I'm
You
just
usually
saying.
you usually try to be a little, more
Mm-mm.
reserved with the shit that you say.
Mm-mm.
But you
Mm-mm. I where's the lie? I didn't say I got a problem with nobody. I'm just talking data and statistics.
Okay.
Data and statistics.
I didn't
You
say
know
you
what I'm
was
saying?
wrong. I'm just
Right. That's all
surprised.
I'm saying. I need some ocean. I need some sunshine. If I gotta pay these high prices, I want some ocean. I want some sunshine. I
Fuck this ocean.
want. Mm-mm. Yeah. So I mean, not to say.
Shouldn't
I
have to
mean,
pay
one
this
day I
shit,
may move.
period.
One day I may move, but like I said, Atlanta is fun to me to party, or even business wise for connections. But I love Cali, so hopefully, we can figure out something to make it work here and improve the the quality of life for the average black person here. I'm personally cool,
Yeah,
but
that's what's
I know
up.
so many that's not, so it bothers me to see that. So
Hmm.
yeah, so that's why I brought that situation up.
Okay.
All right. So our topic today is about mothers who interfere with their son's relationship,
See,
aka what?
I was gonna say I thought we was just talking about toxic mothers. We ain't
I
ready for that
mean,
conversation.
we could talk about, but see, but the topic of toxic mothers in general, that goes so deep. We ain't got enough time in the pod. That's a series. That's a whole series.
Well, we're
Okay.
gonna revisit that and we're gonna give highlights when we do it because I would love to talk about toxic mothers.
Oh yeah, for absolutely sure. We could definitely talk about that. Um, but this topic, it came up because I see a lot of mothers, and because I'm around more black people than anything, black moms, especially when they're single, treat their sons like that's their man, and also not hold their sons accountable, and also play their sons and they stop their sons from being like the greatest version of themselves. Of course, we know that there are a lot of awesome, amazing black mothers who have raised their young men to be great, and some that tried their best and they still ain't nothing. So we're not talking about them because we know that there's no shortage of them. There's no shortage of them. However, these mamas who interfere with their sons' relationships and cause their life to be less than what it needs to be is a major problem. So I'm just gonna tell a quick situation, then I want to hear your input on this. So I
Mhm.
used to date this guy, like I was with this guy long term, and we had a pretty good relationship, and we had been dating for years, and I told him, we've been dating for years, we really need to start looking at where is this going, in the future. And I also told him I wanted to do more stuff like vacations and just, have more fun, build together, start talking about the future, all this kind of stuff. But one of the things I noticed was his mother. She was interfering, but it wasn't direct, it was passive aggressive. So one thing that she would do is every time he got paid, because they lived together, they split the bills down the middle. And one of the things she would do is when he would get paid, she would create a need that he had to pay her half or part of her half of the rent. And so he wasn't making a gazillion bucks. So that would cut into our like funds to do things, right? And for example, we had planned for a trip. We planned for this trip. We were putting up a certain amount of money every month. About 5 months in, he's like, I'm gonna need to take my part out. I'm like, why? Oh, my mom, she needs this and that and the other. And I'm like, your mom is playing you, but I can't. It's hard to tell a man that his mama playing him. I said, your mama is playing you though, and he's like, what do you mean? She needed, why would she do that if she didn't need it? I said, listen, your mom was a street lady. She been in them streets. She was messing with a dude that was married that had like a really really good job. I said he risking his whole family. You think he not kicking her down with money? She getting money from him. She getting money from you. She playing you like a trick. And I was telling him, and he just thought I was being mean, and he thought I was making it up, and just being whatever. And I was like, and it's putting me in a position where we can't do anything. And at first I was like, don't trip, I'm gonna pay for it. But it got to the point where I was like, I'm gonna stop paying, and I'm gonna stop not doing stuff because you don't have the money because you giving your mama all the money. So one day I went into the apartment, I had to use the restroom, and I was passing by her room. Same day she tell him she didn't have the money because of some made up story, and she had a gang of shopping bags on the side of the bed. Trying to hide them. She seen me. She got her to close the door. Gang of shopping bags. So I'm like, this is ridiculous. So to top the whole situation off, she figured I was starting to become a threat because I'm starting to tell him what he needs to do differently for us to build and to have our own life. So she had to get rid of the threat. You know what she did? She walked
What
in the
she
living
do?
room one day. I was there. She sat down. She said, I wouldn't be with a nigga that wasn't giving me money. That's what she said to me.
Oh,
And
hell
Mm.
no.
yeah. So I ended up leaving that relationship, and he went on and got married. And that relationship was sabotaged too. I put it mostly on him why it didn't work out, but definitely some of the things he told me when we ended up talking, and I told him, you gotta live your own life. You can't live your life for your mom, and it's not fair for her. To not saying don't help. If you got an opportunity to help out, that's fine, but don't put your life on hold. You didn't even live a full life because you so concerned about that. And I have so many countless stories of that. So it's like you got to let your kids live their life. You did your f ups already. You know what I'm saying? So I feel like that toxic mother thing is ridiculous. She straight up sabotaged that man relationship with me and the girl after me.
I think that my view on it is a little fucked up because I find it hard to date men that have single mothers as their mom. And it's kind of hard for me to not talk about toxic mothers in general without
Right.
saying this because, I kind of feel like your age range and my age range, like how the people are raising their sons now are it might be slightly different. We don't
Mhm.
really let all the bullshit slide. And I feel like, when we're dating, the mothers of those men do let a lot of bullshit slide, or they
Yeah.
do treat their son as, oh, that's my boo. And I got a whole, me and somebody's son could be living together. You still expecting to pay this man to pay rent where you live at. You still calling him every other day to come help you. So people don't get that if they're dating my brothers because my parents are still together. That's why I said it's
Mhm.
gonna kind of sound fucked up if I say it's men with single mothers. But
Mhm.
the single mothers tend to be extremely needy to their son.
Mhm.
Like I don't know if they feel that way because they don't have anybody else. So they're like, I'm gonna call my son. And it's usually one child that's bearing all of the frustration
Mhm.
because a parent could have multiple
Right.
kids, and you know how it is. The whole squad ain't gonna show up.
Nope.
I'm the one that show up for my family, and I got two
Yeah.
brothers,
Yeah.
so I get that in a sense too. But I still think that it's kind of that for me. I don't like really dating men with single mothers because of my experience. And like I said, I know that thought process is kind of fucked up, but it's my experience.
Well, yeah, if they don't like do something to make sure they don't fall into that trap. You know what I mean? Like, I'm a single mother. I'm preparing my son to leave. I'm preparing him to leave. I'm teaching him to cook. I'm holding him accountable. He don't always listen to everything, but I feel that I'm doing everything in my power to make sure that he can stand on his own and like run a household one day to the best of my ability. I'm not a man, so I can't, it's certain things I can't do. And it's just a casualty of the situation. But I'm doing my best to make sure I equip him with everything I can equip him with. If my dad is outside working on a car, I tell him go outside and watch what he's doing because you need to be able to do that. So he can change oil, he can change the tire, and that's more than some of these grown men can do. I know I can't teach him that, but I will make sure that I do my best to have him around strong males that will do that.
And that's
Like
the
that will
difference
give him that because it's certain things as a woman, he ain't
that you
about to
cannot
listen to me
teach
no
them.
more.
Yeah,
So
so
I
he
have to
needs
put him in
those
the
male
hands of
figures.
strong men.
But that's
So
why I
yeah,
said when it comes to your generation and my generation, it's kind of different
yeah.
because we're talking about the men that we date.
Yeah. I mean, and then the other one is that one she was trying to play him. You know what I'm saying? Well, she was. She played him for years. But another guy, his mother, she's the damsel in distress, damsel in distress, and he's the daddy, and she's the kid. That's how that relationship went. And how he was messed up was he can't even see a woman if she ain't a damsel in distress. If she has any level of strength, any level of competence, any level of anything, if she not falling apart, crying and can't move without him, he don't even see her. He look at that as a deficit. He looks at that as something to turn away from. And it's interesting because his mom would call with the most asinine stuff. Oh my God, son, I need help with this and that stuff that a regular function adult should be able to do themselves. And he drop what he's doing and figure all this stuff out and calling this person and calling that person to make sure stuff gets done. And he may give her like one or two instructions to follow up or follow through with the situation. And She would drop the ball and I changed my mind. I don't want to do that. He didn't stop whatever we got going on to address this damsel in distress. So, then that's the same guy to look at me and say you got masculine tendencies or masculine energy.
Masculine
Because
energy.
I accomplished
Uh-huh.
something, because I
Uh-huh.
completed something. No, I need your help with a whole lot of stuff. I need you for a lot of stuff. But in the event that you don't come through, you think I'm gonna let the lights get cut off? I'm supposed to sit in the
Nah.
dark to prove to you I need you? Like, no, I'm not
But
gonna
then
do
what do
that.
y'all want? What do y'all want? Because do you want me to stand on my own 2 feet or nigga, do you want me to stand on your 2 feet? Because it's like you damned if you do, you damned if you don't. Like you said,
Hmm.
masculine energy, if you out there taking care of your business, then you a gold digger or you nothing, you can't do shit right, you stupid, and all these other adjectives if you waiting around for a man to do that shit for you.
Yeah. Yeah. She really messed him up because it's like when I tell you he cannot see or he don't even see a woman, he don't respect a woman. If you ask him, he'll say, "Oh yeah, da 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 da." He'll he equates you with being like a man if you are like a functioning adult woman. You have to be completely falling apart and calling him every 10 minutes or and the thing about it, it took me a while to realize because I met him in a vulnerable state. So when I met him in a vulnerable state, I probably was, you know, I was vulnerable. You know what I'm saying? But then as I got better and started getting more healthy, then it became a problem. It became a problem, and that's when the shift happened. When I was like, "Oh no, no problem. I can do it myself," because, you know, it was okay. I didn't need that particular thing. But I never said like I don't need your help. I would call for, hey, can you help me with this? Because I'm pretty sure it's stuff around your house you always need stuff done or heavy stuff or
Absolutely.
or whatever. And sometimes you do gotta play the game a little bit and be like, can you come help with whatever, whatever. But I'm not gonna just completely be helpless. Like I just can't do that. I don't want to do that. I can't. You shouldn't even want that. And then what kills me about men like that is you pick a woman like that and then you have kids. That's who leading your kids when you're not around.
A woman that's not
That's
self-sufficient.
right. So what are you then teaching them? And God forbid you got a girl. What is she learning? So I don't know. I mean, I just you have different kind of like toxicity, but and then you had the mothers to try to compete. They try to compete with, the wife or the girlfriend. It's like, why don't you want your son to have his own life?
But a lot of
And
the see, okay, but when you never told me when you're dealing with these toxic mothers, are these mothers in relationships with other people or are they
okay,
single?
the one the one who was sabotaging and playing tricking with the son situation, she had a dude, but the dude was married. So he was going home to his wife. He'd hang out with her and then go home to his wife. The other one, actually, she was married too. But my thing with that is, and I did bring this up, how could she even really fully, because she was recently married, how could she even fully lean on her husband when
She was
you
focusing on her
Captain
son so
Save a
much.
Hoe all the time?
Yeah.
She calling you.
I
She
don't
not even
know.
calling her husband. And he should feel some kind of way unless he just some punk buster. Why he even not stepping in to say, like, no, you got a husband. I got you. You know what I'm saying?
I feel like mothers do coddle their sons more than they do their daughters. And I don't
Hmm.
know if
For
that
sure.
is to
They
like
do. Black mamas for
make
sure.
us stronger. Is that supposed to make us
Yeah.
stronger? We're just supposed to suck it
Yeah.
up and toughen up or what? I'm not sure, but I never liked that. Because it was shit that my brother did that my mama would have fried my ass for,
I think the
to be honest with
expectation
you.
for women is higher anyway. The expectation is
Mhm.
higher anyway. It's like we kind of expect them to do stupid shit all the time. And it's not fair. I'm not saying it's fair, but it's like you could hold them to that same standard as a girl, but are they gonna ever meet that? I can't hold my son to my daughter's standard.
Yeah, you can, but I don't think that you could be harder on one kid when it comes to discipline than the other.
Mm,
And I know you
right.
probably might otherwise, but just
No, I don't. I agree with you. I just think sometimes it's gonna look different because you got to deal with each kid different. But it's gonna look different. But I
it
mean,
might it
I
might
probably
look
am harder
different,
on
but
my
there's
girl than I am on my boy.
I know for a fact you are. I know for a
Hmm.
fact you are.
Yeah,
That's why I tell
yeah.
you, you know, when you tell me some of the situations that happen, which we don't need to get deep into, I try to just listen and find out the why behind the why because you do be letting your son get away with murder. You
Oh
do.
wow.
And that's a no, you do. And that's a lot of mothers with their boys. And I don't really think that I understand about the whole, we can't really expect our sons to be at the same level as our daughters or we hold women to a higher standard than we do men, but I think that some of the reasons that they have the mentality that they have or that they are so fucked up and far gone is it starts with what happened to them while they were at home. And it may not be a traumatic situation, but the shit that their mom may have let them get away with or the situations, for example, if you know your son a dog and he cheating and you are encouraging the cheating behavior, you're
Right.
hiding and lying for him because some others do that, hiding and
Yeah.
lying
Yeah.
about other girlfriends and stuff like that instead of just staying out of it. Or like I said, you when you see him doing wrong, you're not like, hey, don't do that. She don't deserve or
Right.
whatever. Like you are enabling that behavior, and it
Yeah.
just
Yeah.
that's why I feel the way I feel.
Hmm.
Uh,
I don't know. I mean, I feel like if you have if you have a child that's always, not to get into kid stuff, but if you have a child that's always getting into something, like you can't go hard 100 out of 100 times. It's draining as hell. So you got to be like, what's the 20 times I'm a trip? So other people saying the 80 times you made it, you had the trip in a different way, whereas maybe you talking to the person, or whatever the case may, talking to the kid or whatever, instead of punishment for however many weeks or months. But it's exhausting, you know what I mean? Like your whole life will be dedicated into like making sure this person don't do nothing. So I gotta choose my battle from my sanity versus my girl. I could just say, hey, look, you need to do XYZ or you're gonna be on punishment. And she will be like, okay, what I need to do. And then that's gonna be the end of it. Whereas the boy, I would have to be walking around following him. So it can't look the same, or I lose my mind. I lose my mind.
then
I
you
ain't saying that I can't be harder, but it's not gonna look the same.
but you're expecting her to get it quickly because she's very
Yeah,
intelligent, and you're
yeah.
expecting her to just take it however you deliver it to her because you know she's strong. And that's not always
That's
good.
true.
That's not always a good thing because look, let me tell you this. Working at the same job I've been working on before I got this position, um, they used to give performance reviews a lot. And
Hmm.
I would rarely ever get one. Their excuse was, well, we know you know what you're doing and you're always a good performer, so you don't need a performance review and you don't need any
Uh-huh.
performance praise.
Uh-huh.
I had a problem
Uh-huh.
with that because I still want to find feedback and get feedback and see how I can do better than
Right.
what I'm doing, even if you think I'm doing a
Right.
good job. Now bringing it back to parents, my dad told me straight up, well, we don't call you all the time like we do your brother because we know that you okay. We know that you don't
Mm-hmm.
really need us.
Mm-hmm.
Why are you
Yeah, I
expecting
mean,
me to just be
yeah.
strong and not need the same like, does that make sense what I'm saying?
No, I do. I do, because I've been on the opposite end of that before. I've been on the receiving end of that. And in fact, my daughter and I had that conversation as well. Like, and so I had to change certain things of how I deal with her because sometimes the squeaky wheel gets the oil and you could get lost in the fact that you always correcting something and maybe miss like the kid that's doing everything they're supposed to be doing or whatever that they might need you in a different way. But part of that is communication too. I mean, not to go off into part of that is communication because I remember having that conversation with my middle sister and she was like, you don't tell nobody, you don't never show any vulnerability. So how are we supposed to know something wrong? How are we supposed to know you need a hug? How are we supposed to know you need support? That's what she said. You always seem like you got it together. So how how am I supposed to know? And to keep it real, if I would have verbalized that to her, I know I would have got whatever it was I needed from her to be more whole. But I was not raised um to show that. My attitude, how I was raised, was like, you need to figure out what's the next step. Like, you ain't got time to be crying. You got stuff to do. And so it's only been more recent years that I take the time more often to be like, no, I just need to cry or I need help. I want help. I don't feel strong today. Like that, those type of statements are just now a little more comfortable for me to be able to say. Like even in our friendship, there's been times where I have asked you for help and you helped me. I mean, in friendship, of course, that's supposed to go both ways. But in the past, I ain't asked no friends for nothing. I got about maybe two, possible two in the possible that I have shown that level of vulnerability to, and just be like, I don't want to be on. I don't want to be together. I want to just be allowed to be, whatever, sad or grieve or not have it together or not figure everything out. So I'm just now learning to even ask for help. So, that's a whole nother side road. But, I think if there are mothers that's listening to that, and if you have daughters and sons, then you should really look at your daughters if you are treating them differently and holding them more accountable and being harder on them because you know what they're capable of, and give and love on them a little bit more because they may feel like it's held against them that they're strong. So it's definitely an issue. I've been on all sides of it, so I know that it's true and that we do hold women to a higher standard than we do men, and it's not necessarily right. And especially for black women, you know we treat it different from non-black women where they have the space and the permission to just be soft or be vulnerable at times and not have it together or be mediocre. We can't even be mediocre. So yeah, I mean, I feel you. I receive a little bit of it.
All right, and we will be tapping into this a little further. I don't know if it's going to be next week. It could be in the weeks to come, next month. I don't know, but the discussion about toxic mothers or toxic parenting in general is not over. But I wasn't trying to get that deep with y'all today, but we did, so it is what it is.
You and
As
all younger
always,
on us.
as always, I appreciate y'all for tuning in and hanging out with us. I'm your host, Shay Butter.
And I'm the other host, Brown Sugar. Have a great week, everyone.
Peace.